Hello and welcome to Gar1onriva's Top 5. Today I'm going to be looking at my top 5 adventure games. Adventure games have changed quite a bit in the last couple of decades. They used to all be obnoxiously hard point-and-click adventures where adventure game logic got its title, but have since more commonly become what Telltale makes their money off, which are dialogue-heavy, decision-based, almost moral choice adventures, and both are really good. So from these two genres of game, I have chosen my 5 favourites. 3 things to remember: of course these are my personal opinions, so please don't tell me I'm wrong. These are only counting ones that I have either seen or played. And 3, I will do my best to make sure there are no spoilers in this, because these are all story-based and it's best to go in with no foreknowledge. Number 5. Life is Strange. This is a dialogue-heavy one, but it revolutionises the style that Telltale made by adding time travel as a core mechanic. And I don't mean in the way that Day of the Tentacle did. It's a short-term time travel, so you can rewind and redo dialogue, actions, but only in the area you're in. But where it comes into its own is with the classic choices that Telltale made so popular, where you have to choose between 2 or more choices, or dialogue, or something like that, and go with that from then on, and that will affect the rest of the game. In Life is Strange, after you've chosen one, you will then see the immediate outcome, and you can choose to rewind time and choose the other option. And then once you've weighed up all the options, you can then go with the one you prefer. It's very cleverly done, and it allows the story to add choices that are obviously short-term gain versus long-term cost, or vice versa, which is something that Telltale ones seldom do because it can't always be obviously explained. The reason Life is Strange is only 5th on this list is the same reason that made me very, very seriously consider giving it a negative review on Steam. The plot goes bananas in the later episodes. The final episode is pretty much pointless plot-wise. I'm afraid I can't explain any more than that without going into spoiler territory, but it takes the adventure game logic thing and just it creates such a massive, massive plot hole that it really put me off the story of the game, but the core mechanics and what it means for adventure games as a whole is really good and does deserve to be experienced. Number 4. Discworld 2, Missing Presumed. Discworld 2 is a very old game. It's also known as Mortality Bites in North America, but it came out in 1996. And is the second of 3 Discworld computer games that were made back then. I haven't played the third one, but between the first and the second one is definitely my favourite, and it's, I just know it so well. It's the old style point and click, and it is classic. It is convoluted, difficult, weird. It has adventure game logic through the pointy hat. It's completely insane, and it is absolutely hilarious. Monty Python was heavily involved with its writing, I believe, so it is, to be honest, it's a mix between Discworld and Monty Python, but both of which are really good humour, and they mix so well. I think of it so fondly that its depiction of Rincewind, Death, Ridcully, all of these, they're how I picture them when I read the books. I have some incredibly fond memories, and I reference it quite a bit, so anytime I say, that doesn't work, that's a reference to Discworld 2, the adventure game. Number 3. The Wolf Among Us. Another dialogue-heavy one. This one's by Telltale themselves. It mixes the classic Telltale adventure game with a detective game, and it does it very well. It manages to give you these different choices of how to go about your investigation, and while some may be better than others, none of them will cripple the investigation, so the story still moves smoothly. The characters are very interesting. It has some really, really good action bits. And the final episode is fantastic. The fact that they've taken such a relatively unknown property, Fables, that I'd never heard of, and turned it into such a good adventure game is just a testament to Telltale's skill at this genre. And this one was by far my favourite Telltale game until number 2. Tales from the Borderlands. I never thought this one would work. Taking Borderlands, a shoot and looter, which is basically an MMO, and turning it into a Telltale adventure game. But it works. The humour matches perfectly. The art style works unlike the Game of Thrones, which just looks like really bad graphics. And it creates a dialogue-heavy adventure game which fits into the Borderlands universe perfectly. Playing this is what got me around to actually playing Borderlands 2, and it's a lot better than Borderlands 1, but Tales from the Borderlands is still my favourite entry in the series. The characters are great, the set pieces are phenomenal, and as I said, it is very, very funny. It is, in my opinion, the best Telltale adventure game out there so far. And finally, number 1, Deponia: The Complete Journey. You knew this was coming, you had to know this was coming, everybody knew this was coming. It's Deponia, it's something I can't stop raving about. It's a point-and-click adventure where dialogue is a big part, but it's more about inventory and inventory puzzles than the actual dialogue choices. And Deponia: The Complete Journey combines the first 3 Deponia games into one complete journey, as the name suggests. Even if they hadn't released this ensemble thing, Goodbye Deponia would still take the top slot, but adding to that Deponia itself and Chaos on Deponia, it becomes by far the best adventure game I've ever played. And I've only played about an hour of the actual complete journey, but I know the 3 games very well, and combining them into one is the best thing that could ever be done for a single game. Deponia has fantastic adult humour, and I really don't advise it for children. And as the 3 games go, they keep tweaking the gameplay so that it stays fresh, it innovates on the previous one, and it becomes better and better as they go. And of course, the biggest point in its favour is the art. Dear God, I love Deponia art. You can tell because I base my entire channel's art around it. It is phenomenally pretty, the backgrounds are stunning, the characters are very well done. I love it. I love Deponia. It is the best by a long way, and if you know me even vaguely, you will know that that was always going to be the case. But don't ask about Deponia Doomsday, I will not be talking about that yet. And that wraps up my top 5 adventure games. Were there any in this list with which you disagreed? Were there any that I missed out that you really think should be in here? By all means, let me know in the comments, but please, no spoilers whatsoever. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.